All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, January 10th, 2013. Let's go over the results to start with. Okay, in the live trading room this morning, we were plus 7 ticks on crude oil, plus 8 ticks on gold, and plus 7 ticks on the Russell. Now, we slowed things down quite a bit in the live trading room this morning, at least for me anyway. We slowed things down quite a bit. We did look at quite a few markets still, but we were just slow about it all. The same trade setups, obviously, across all the markets, same time frames for the most part, across every single market. The same indicators, same everything, as it is every day. Okay, we ended the day. I think we only took 4 trades this morning, and 3 of those were wins, and one of them was a break even. I know that's slower than it normally is, but that's what we did. We had some special guests in the live trading room this morning that were invited for the day today, just to check things out, and they get to see it happen live, real time. All right. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to www.cf like Frank RN like Nancy.net/apply. Sign up for the free trial. All we ask for is your name and your email address. In the free trial, you get access to everything you see here. You get access to our live trading room for 5 business days. You get access to our indicators for 5 business days. You get access to the charting platform. You get access to Dwayne and I. All the stuff that you would normally get except the partners meetings. You do not get to go into the partners meetings, which leads me right into the partners meeting. There is a partners meeting tonight. Okay. There is a partners meeting tonight. All right. So if you are a partner, it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, as it always is, every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you are not a partner and you want to get into that partners meeting, you need to give me a call. You should have my email and my phone number. Either give me a call or email me. You can email me at support@cfrn.net. And pretty much everybody's got my phone number by now, I think. If you have any questions about anything we've done, anything you're thinking of doing, just give us a call, and we'll be happy to work through things with you as much as we can. All right, now let's get on to the trades. Okay, I did not take a ton of trades today. I tried to keep it slow because I know that sometimes I start moving really fast when there's a lot of opportunity, and it's just too fast for some folks. Okay. The way that things started off this morning, there was a downward move here. You see we had a bearish cross. Now, I'll show you the trade setup. Let me start off by showing you the trade setup. There was no support down here on the slingshot for this first move down, so there was no trade there. There was no trade over here. Well, actually, right here, right at the open, you could have gotten long right there for about 4 or 6 ticks. But let's just go through the actual setup, okay? I have a picture of it right over here. This is what it looks like. On the short side, because I'm going to show you the short side right now, you look for a bearish cross of the MA1 down below the BBC. That's step 1. Step 2 is you look for some space between the BBC and the MA1. That's step 2. Step 3 is you look for a pullback to the BBC, which is the green line, and a down close or a close in the direction of the cross. In this case, a down close. Step 4, look for divergence, and you enter on the down close. Every trade has an 8-tick stop, no matter what market it is. Every trade has an 8-tick stop. Okay? Now, I'll put that back here and just minimize it. Now, the assumption is that you're going to have enough break-in momentum for it to pull all the way back to the BBC. If it does not pull all the way back to the BBC, or if you have divergence but the slingshot is the opposite color, the cycle portion of the slingshot is the opposite color, then you need some confirmation of the continuation of the trend. I know that sounds like a lot, but this is going to be a podcast, so you can just rewind it and listen to it again. You need confirmation of the continuation of the trend. We do that by drawing these little trend lines in here, okay? We do that by drawing these little trend lines in here. And if it doesn't pull all the way back to the BBC, or if the slingshot's not in favor of the trade, then you can draw a trend line and just look for a close down below that trend line. Once you have the bearish cross, it's pulling back But say the sellers aren't here at the BBC where they usually are. Say they're a little lower. They're right here. You don't go all the way back to the BBC. You wait for the close below the trend line. You enter in there. Okay, here's a couple examples of it right here. Pull back, close below the trend line. Now over here, it pulled all the way back up to the BBC, which is in the picture. Okay, all the way back up to the BBC. The problem is that there was blue in the cycle over here. Okay, so you have to wait for the confirmation. That would be the close down below that trend line. I draw these trend lines in manually myself, all right, as the market's moving. The close below the trend line. That's where I entered this morning, and I put a profit target right down here at the low, and I got filled right down there at the low. Okay, that was it. That was a perfect example of how to take the trade, how to put a target on the trade, what to expect out of the trade. It was everything that I was looking to show today in the live trading room. That was crude oil. Was that the first one that I showed? The Russell was the first one that I showed. But that was crude oil. If you were just looking for 2 points on the day, right there you're pretty close to 2 points. By the time I had gotten to this trade right here, I was already up 7 ticks in the Russell. So I was up, at this point, if you're looking for the equivalent of 2 points per day per contract, we were up just about 3 right here. We're up about $140 a contract. Okay. All right. So as we move through, there was no trading right in here when it got flat. All right. There was an opportunity over here to short. I missed it. Nothing in here. Well, yeah, I guess you could have shorted right there. I missed all this. Everything right in here. I missed all this, and I didn't take any more trades on crude oil. All right. That was it. There are a couple other opportunities in here where you could have taken trades, but I did not take any. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to move the crude over and I'll show you the Russell. All right. Now this was the first trade that I took. If you were looking for just 2 points per day, then by 9:41 you could have been done. All right. On this particular trade right here, again, going back to my picture, my screenshot. Okay. The short side. Let's see. Well, I'll put it way over here. Okay, the short side. You're looking for the bearish cross like this, step 1. The space in between, step 2. The pullback and down close, step 3, with the bearish divergence, step 4. All right. Right here we had the cross, the pullback, the space, the down close, and the divergence. So right here was a perfect opportunity to execute exactly as the picture shows. All right, and you can see what it did. It gave nice profit. All right. There's a couple things wrong with this from my perspective. One is it was all pre-market, and 2, it was going right into the weekly trading zone. So I wanted to wait until we got through the zone before I actually traded myself. All right. As we dropped through the zone, this was another one of those scenarios where it didn't have enough momentum. I mean, it had so much momentum that it didn't pull it all the way back to the BBC. You had to wait for a continuation down below the trend line. That was right in here. Now, on this one, there was no room to run down here. There was no divergence. So it wasn't the best opportunity. It worked out just fine. You would have been looking to short right here, but you had no room to run down here. So it was tough to gauge where the thing was going to go. All right. The next one over here, I actually took this one because we did have some divergence down here. All right. I had to draw the trend line in again. We closed below the trend line. Once it started to move in my favor, I put my stop at break even, and it came back and took me out at break even. Now the trade right after that was this one right here. You can see we had the divergence here, and we had to close down below the trend line again with the divergence. I shorted that trade over here, and I took profit down here. That, again, what I was illustrating was if you look for this right here, this green portion of the slingshot to work its way down into the cycle, you can get an idea of the range of the trade. Now, when I was in this trade, I was up here, and we had this space right here to the prior swing. We had this much space. And we had this much space, like twice as much space down here for the green line to work its way down into the cycle. So I said to everyone in the room at the time, I anticipate that we're going to work our way down into the cycle with the green line, and that will put us below the prior swing. All right, and that's what it did. So I took profit over there, and that was the end of my trading on the Russell for the morning. Not to say that there weren't more trades, because there were many more trades. There's one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here. But that was the end of my trading in the live trading room on the Russell. Okay. I'll just jump over to the next market, which happens to be gold. I'm working my way back across today, the way that I normally try to. All right, now on gold, I think I only took one trade on gold as well, right? Yeah, I was using this as an example in here of what to expect. I said if you entered, and we'll go back to that picture again, same picture, same thing over and over and over again. You see how it doesn't matter what market this picture is on? You guys don't even know what market this picture is on, do you? See, it doesn't even matter. If I didn't have any prices over here at all, the setup is the same. It doesn't matter what market it is. It's the same indicators. You get your bearish cross, that's step one. Beneath here, you have space right there. Space in here, that's step two. You have a pullback and down close, that's step three. And you have divergence, step four. So your entry is right here on this down close. And with this much space right here, you anticipate that it's going to get through the prior swing pivot. Okay, so right there, down to the cycle portion of the slingshot. It starts up here, the green line works its way down to the cycle portion of the slingshot, and that right there is where it turns around and moves up. Okay, so the entry would have been here, your exit could have been down here anywhere. I missed the trade, I was explaining it, but I didn't take it. I don't know why I didn't take it, but I didn't. But I believe I did explain it. I may have explained it after the fact, but that was the trade setup. Now in here, this is one of the ones that didn't pull all the way back down to the BBC, but you got an up close above the trend line. So right in here was a spot to get long. Another one was right in here. This one actually did pull all the way back to the BBC, but it was red on the cycle, so you needed the close above the trend line, the confirmation, and that worked out well. This is the one that I actually took here. It pulled back down to the BBC. You needed the close up above the trend line to get long. I got long in here. I believe I probably got long right over here on that close. And up it went until the green line reached the cycle. Okay, and I took profit up there. That was my trade on the gold this morning. I didn't trade any more on the gold, but there were more trades to be taken. Okay. Right in here, you could have shorted. Let's see, right here, there was no divergence to support the trade. Over here, there was nothing on the long side. Let's see, we're at the end of the morning session right here, but there was a trade right here on the long side you could have taken. Right here would have been the entry. This bar, right there. Oops, move that over a little. This bar. Right there would have been your entry. Okay. The way things look right now, it's about to set up some bearish divergence, but it's not there yet. A pullback to the BBC, you would need to close below the trend line because you don't have divergence to support the trade. You also don't have divergence to gauge any range on the trade. So I would let that go. I'll point out just one more thing in here. Now this was the pullback down here, okay? Now while you're waiting, that was the pullback. Until it hits the BBC, that's when you stop drawing your trend line. Okay, when it hits the BBC is when you stop moving your trend line. As long as it's not hitting the BBC yet, until you get an up close above this trend line, like if you get wicks above it, you have to redraw the trend line. All right, if you get a wick above it. An example of that would be right over here, right now. Well, not right now, but a few minutes ago. Right in here. That would have been the original trend line. All right. Actually, that's not a good example of it because it's not a wick, it's an actual up close. Anyway, right over here, your entry would have been right in here. You would have been looking to get long. Over here, you didn't have any divergence to support the up close, so you wouldn't have done anything right in there. Right here where it currently is, this is your trend line. You don't have any divergence to support any trading in there at the moment. Okay? And that was gold. Now, I didn't take any trades on these markets this morning. I did point one thing out. Right in here on the down close, there was an entry on the ES. Same stuff. Same stuff. You had your down. You cross down your space right in here. You pull back, tested the BBC in a down close. Now, if you entered right here on the down close, exactly at the down close at 61.5, and you had an 8 tick stop on it, you probably would have stopped out right here at 63.5. Had you not entered exactly at the low, had you entered one tick above it, then you would have been in it for the ride down to the weekly trading zone. This red box down here, I had actually drawn that red box over here originally, and then it pulled up, and I said, well, I still think it's going to get into that red box. And you can see that it eventually did get into the red box. Now you can see it's just choppy right in here at the weekly trading zone. All right, that was the one thing that we looked at on the ES this morning. Let's see, we really didn't look at the YM. Okay, we really didn't look all that much at the YM. There was one other thing on the ES. Let me point that out. We had a pierce of the envelope over here suggesting a 5 to 6 point move down. That one only went 4. We had another one over here suggesting a 5 to 6 point move up. That one went 6. Another one over here suggesting a 5 to 6 point move down. That one went 4. Another one over here suggesting a 5 to 6 point move up. That one went more than 6. And another one over here suggesting a 5 to 6 point move down. That one went 6. All right, that was all on the DMT in the last couple days on the ES. Natural gas. Natural gas came out today at 10:30 my time. We were looking for opportunities in here after the natural gas came out. We should have been looking for it before. There were some nice opportunities right in here before the natural gas came out. Then it came out. You see it popped up, went sideways. All of this is 1 minute. From right here to right here. All that is 1 minute. And then it started to drop down a few minutes later, and we missed a couple of trades in here. We were going to start right in here. We were seriously looking for a trading opportunity when it got over here. And by the time it happened, by the time we got the down close over here below this trend line, we had the black line above the green line. So there was no opportunity to trade right there on the short side. As it panned out, it went up, and there was an opportunity here to get long and right here to get long. Just looking at the trend lines, right there and there were opportunities to get long, and no divergence to support any trades in there. If you look at it right now, there's no divergence to support any trades on the short side, but I would look for a trade. It's going to give us some divergence here if it starts to pull up to the BBC. Okay? That was the live trading room this morning. Now, does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? We had a pretty good showing this morning. Jerry, for the long trade, you need to see divergence with the blue slingshot, and for the short trade, you need to see divergence with the red slingshot. For the bounce off the BBC, yes. For the bounce off the BBC. If you're doing the continuation, then it may not be red or blue, as you mentioned. It may be the opposite color, but you need to have space in between the green line. I'll show you right here on the NQ. Did I cover the NQ? I don't think I did. Anyway, we didn't trade the NQ this morning, but there were opportunities on the NQ. Let's see. What you were saying, Jerry, was this right here. You had a bullish cross, tested the BBC with an up close, and it's blue. That is true. Over here, we had a bearish cross. We didn't test the BBC, but we had a continuation on the way down, and it was red. There was no divergence either. That was true. But let's see if I can show you an example somewhere in here that happened this morning. Yeah, right in here. Okay, it pulled back up toward the BBC, but it didn't have enough, well, it had too much momentum to pull back into the BBC. And we had some divergence. There was space in between the green line and the cycle. The cycle was blue. So you need the close down below the trend line to confirm it. The close down below the trend line was right here at 24.75. It pulled all the way back to 26 and a quarter before it went all the way down here. Okay? So if you don't have the proper color cycle down here, then you're not going to take only the bounce off the BBC. Okay? You're going to look for confirmation of the close below the trend line. All right? The question is about the YBR. Does it work only for the ES? Can it be used for other time frames? It can be used for other time frames, particularly the 4-tick range crude oil. Okay? Take a look at that. Let's see. Any other questions? No, just comments. All right. Well, with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I guess I didn't go through all this stuff here on the NQ, but it's all the same thing. You know, you're looking for your pullback, test at the BBC, your down close. If you have blue down here, then you need to close below the trend line. Same thing over and 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 over again. Okay? All the markets, all the time, all the same. Simple as that. All right. Okay. Okay. Anybody that's got my layout from this week, there is one chart. I don't remember which one it is, but it's got a thing called CFTL on it. This CFTL. All right, and that is going to throw trend lines all over your chart like that. If you go to View, All Active Indicators, just remove that thing. Okay. Just remove it. If you happen to have a chart that's got my trend lines all over it, and you're scrolling back and you want to see something way back here, and you see all these trend lines, just click on this thing right here. It says Select All. That'll highlight all the drawing objects, and then click on the black X. That'll remove all the drawing objects. Okay. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to remove all my drawing objects. But just do that. Click on this, it says Select All, and click on this black thing right here. It says Remove It, and it'll take all the drawing objects off. Okay? No, it won't return them. Once you do that, they're gone. Okay? If you select them all, there might be something to copy them, but I don't know. I don't know if they're all selected right now. If you do Control-C and copy, it says Copy Selected drawing objects to the clipboard. That might work. I don't know. You'd have to try that out. Okay. Personally, I do not know.
Okay, that it?
Yeah, I'm reading. There's a couple more questions. Just an observation: if you take a trade with a steep angle of the BBC line, will you have a better result? Not necessarily. It depends. The market. A lot of times it's going to be steep right up until it's not steep. And you don't know where that end is going to be. You have a pretty good idea based on what the slingshot is telling you, the distance between here and here. If you have this to this and you're up here and the green line is already all the way up in the cycle, and you're up here, the next pullback down may not go all the way up above that. You may not get any farther. That's topping action. When the cycle starts headed down like that, that's topping action. And you may be all done. But you see, you still got a steep line right here. But it may be all done. All right. So the thing to look for is this and this. If they're all going in the same direction, like over here and here, then that's when you might see more movement on it. Okay? There. Now I'm all done. I'll stop the recording on that one.